Afternoon or morning, everybody. It's Darlene here. First, I want to start by acknowledging that I'm coming to you from Lutjawidda, Tasmania, Aboriginal land, sea and waterways, and acknowledge with deep respect the traditional custodians of the land, the Palawa people. And I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which we are all working today, and any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders participating in this webinar. Today's session is called At Our Best. So how often do we get to work at our best or feel like we are working at our best? Imagine if we could do that more often. Deb's here today to share her wisdom on this topic. I think every week the topic just seems to relate so much to where I am. So I thank you, Deb, for kind of understanding where I am at the time and putting on a session just for me. But the session is also for everybody else. So yeah, I'll hand over to you, Deb, and look forward to hearing from you again.
Thank you, Darlene, and so glad to be here to give you this session just for you and for everyone else who's joined us and will be listening to the recording as well. Okay, at our best, it's an interesting topic, and one, if we're a little bit humble, we kind of have a kind of that, should we be talking about our best? But we talk about taking a strengths-based approach to a lot of our work, but how about taking a strengths-based approach to our own life and our own work? What language would we use? How do we talk about our strengths? How do we know if we're using our strengths? And should we? Is it the right thing to do? So when it comes to improving, making improvements in your work, think about it. Do you think it's better to focus on your areas of strengths or your areas of weakness? What's going to serve you better? And we're going to put a poll up to get your response. So do you think it's better to work on our areas of strength or our areas of weaknesses if we want to? Okay. So 2/3 think of it as, we need to focus on our strengths if we want to make improvements. And a third of us say it's better to focus on our weakness. Thank you for that. And even sometimes if we think it's good to focus on our strengths, it's like, oh yeah, but should I be ignoring those weaknesses? You might be interested to know that way back in the 50s and the 60s, one of the kind of really well-renowned leadership consultant and researcher and teacher, Peter Drucker, said that we perform only from our strengths and we cannot build performance based on our weakness. And then actually, he talked about the task of leadership being to create an alignment of strengths that make our weaknesses irrelevant. So when it comes to improving, a lot of people think that it is better to focus on our strengths, and given for most of the time, doesn't mean you should ignore your weaknesses, but if you focus on your strengths, you're going to get just a bigger bang for your buck and more satisfaction too, because actually our strengths, bit trigger happy here, our strengths are things which we enjoy doing, that we use often because they're pretty natural for us to use and they energize us. We just feel better when we get to use our strengths. And I love Marcus Buckingham's definition. Simply put, our strengths make us feel stronger, and conversely, our weaknesses make us feel weaker. So strengths are things that we can actually use to improve our performance because they're already things that we enjoy doing, so we just need to build on those. And then it comes to what language of strengths do we use? And the values in action, character strengths is one that I use a lot. It's one of the most robustly studied strengths platforms or models around. It was developed with a team of 55 scientists over 3 years who actually went through history, went through cultures, went through religion, to find out what was best in people. When do we perform well? When are we at our best? And from that, they came up with 24 strengths that are characterized into 6 different virtues. And we all have the 24 strengths, but usually it's the top 5 or 7 that define us the best, and they're called the signature strengths. So Let's go through them. I don't know if anyone's heard of the VIA character strengths before. A lot of people have. And there's a link at the end of the slides for you to go and do a free assessment. Takes about 15 minutes, and then it will list your character strengths in order of them, the ones that are most you, your signature ones, down to the 24. It's really important to know that we do have all these 24 strengths. When I do the VIA character strengths assessment with someone, they go, oh, well, I'm not good at humor, or I'm not good at love. And it's like, well, you have it. It might be a lesser strength, but it still is a strength. So think about it. These are what is good in people. And the thing that jumps out to me is that not only are they good for the individuals, they actually do good. So when you look at wisdom, the ones under the virtue of wisdom, that's creativity, curiosity, love of learning, judgment, and perspective. If some of your top strengths are there, it means that you love sharing ideas, you love looking at new perspectives, weighing them up, seeing the bigger picture, looking for new possibilities and new angles to things. If temperance, if your strengths fall under the temperance virtue on the opposite side, the green ones, it means that you're really good at regulating your choices, self-control, you regulate your emotions and your actions too. You're also quick to forgive. You're good at getting the job done and letting your actions speak for you. If you have the courageous, some of those courageous strengths in your top ones, they're the purple. That means that they're the strengths of the heart. So they're really emotional strengths that get things done. You are okay to put your heart on the line. You speak up, you take risks, you can have lots of energy, you tell it like it is. And the justice strengths. So they're the ones under citizenship here, those strengths of community, that you want to do right by other people, that you ensure everyone feels valued. And I'm sure we'd have lots of disability practitioners who would have some top strengths in this area, that you want people to have a fair go, that you want people to make a contribution, and you make a good contribution to the team. And the strengths of others is the humanity, those pink ones, social intelligence, kindness and love. So it's tending and befriending strengths, that you're known for your thoughtfulness and your kindness, that you go out of your way to show others consideration and show that you care, you take time to listen, and that you're comfortable with emotions. Time and time again, when I do the strength mapping across my team, that love and kindness come out there so strong. So what this does, it gives a really nice language for strengths. Transcendence, and that's the strengths of spirit. That's you lift others up. Your humor and your gratitude and your hope, your appreciation lifts others up around you. You inspire others. You make them laugh. You appreciate them. You connect to what is good in the world. You connect to the beauty. You look for meaning. So they're the 24 strengths in a nutshell. What might be some of your top ones? Which ones really spoke to you in those? Maybe put some in the chat. Any that really stood out and go, yes, that's me. I can't see chat, so I'm hoping people, oh, yep, some people are putting it in chat. Love of learning. Thanks, Kirsty. And if anyone else has any strength that's really stood out to them. Appreciation of beauty and excellence is usually one of my top ones. When we find new ways to use our VIA strengths, this is one of the great reasons I use it, because remember, it's been so researched. Not only did it take a team of 55 scientists 3 years to put it together, it continues to be one of the most researched models of strength. And time again, it finds that when we find new ways to use our VIA strength, so it's not doing it and putting it in the drawer and going, well, I did that and hasn't made any difference to my well-being or resilience. It's when we find new ways to use it every day that it has one of the most impactful impacts. It has a really strong impact on our well-being, our resilience, our mental health. We have more energy, we have more confidence, we're 6 more times more likely to be engaged in what we're doing in our day, and we feel 3 times more satisfied and more happy in our lives. But it's finding new ways to use them every day. And just in case you think, oh yeah, we just take them for granted. Oh yeah, so what? I appreciate beauty. I have a love of learning. Just consider, just choose one. Let's choose a love of learning, and let's consider what it would be like if this strength just disappeared from the world for 1 month. All the things that you couldn't do. So you couldn't pick up a book and read a new skill. You couldn't even Google something that you're interested to find out more about it. You couldn't come along to a 12 at 12. You couldn't go to a conference. So all that, all the actions that love of learning inspires you to do would just disappear. And, for my appreciation of beauty and excellence, I wouldn't be able to look at an amazing sunrise and sunset and go, wow, or go to an art exhibition. Or watch even a great comedy and appreciate a great comedy. So they impact us in lots of little ways during the day. So what I encourage you to do is to take the free VIA character strength survey, and that link will be shared with you on the chat. And when you take it, look at what you have and look at the strengths and think, is that me? Does that make sense that they're my top 5 or 7? And why is that strength down there? Why might honesty be down there? Is it, or can I get it up a bit further? So they're the questions to ask. If that's like, yeah, that makes sense, that's me. I'm not sure if this is me. You could discuss it with a friend, or you could think, well, I didn't expect that to be towards the lower of my strength. So maybe what I can do is put some attention and focus on bringing it up. And then maybe for the next week, notice how you use your character strengths each day. So pick 2 or 3 that you want to really focus on and see how you use them already in your day, and try and find new ways to use them, because they'll only make a difference if we can find new ways to use them each day. And there's a link. So there's a free VIA survey, just 15 minutes. It's a really great way to find out your strengths, where they lie. And Marcus Buckingham is actually taking another strengths model called the Gallup, and you do a quick free survey with him and you get your 2 top Gallup strengths, and they have some really great names for them, and that's really worth taking too. Thank you, everyone.
Great, thank you, Deb. And Kylie's just put those links into the chat box for you. So take care. Bye.